All right, so you want to be a sporting and outdoor accessories shop manager, huh? That's awesome. We're going to help you get ready for that interview using some great resources from RoleCatcher. It'll be like your own personal interview boot camp.
It's a job that really combines a love for the outdoors with, you know, some serious business skills.
So let's start by painting a picture of what this job really looks like. We'll pull some stuff from RoleCatcher's career guide. It's got to be more than just helping customers pick out the right gear, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. You're managing the whole store, you're managing employees, you're hitting those sales targets, you're dealing with budgets, you're ordering supplies, you're basically the captain of the ship, making sure everything runs smoothly and the store is successful.
Okay. So organization skills and that passion for the outdoors. What about the work environment itself?
I mean, picture a fast-paced retail floor. You're interacting with customers a lot. There might be some friendly competition between the staff to meet those sales goals. You're going to be on your feet a lot, which, goes back to that physical demand that RoleCatcher mentions.
Got it. So energy and stamina are key. What's something about this job that might surprise people?
Well, you might actually travel to supplier locations to check out new gear or, negotiate deals. It's not just about being stuck in the store all the time.
That's cool. So there's a bit of adventure involved, too. What about the biggest pros and cons? Someone should know about those, right?
Let's start with the good stuff. High product knowledge is a major plus. You're surrounded by all that new cool gear. You get to work with other enthusiasts, learn about new products, and those employee discounts are usually pretty good.
I mean, who doesn't like a good deal? Okay, so those are the pros. What are the downsides?
Retail can be tough.
Yeah.
There's seasonality, so sales can be kind of up and down. The work can be physically demanding, especially when you're unpacking those big shipments or moving displays around. And let's be honest, you're going to run into some difficult customers.
The joys of retail, right? But for the right person, the pros definitely outweigh the cons. So let's get to the core of this deep dive, the interview itself. We have 9 common interview questions from RoleCatcher that we're going to break down one by one.
Yeah, we'll figure out what the interviewer is really asking. Give you a quick tip to nail your answer, and even look at some possible follow-up questions they might ask you.
Sounds like a plan. All right, question number 1. Can you tell us about your previous experience working in a sporting and outdoor accessories shop? Seems pretty simple, but I bet there's more to it than just listing your past jobs.
You got it. They're looking for relevant experience, how you've developed skills that apply directly to this role. It's about showcasing those transferable skills from any job you've had. Were you great at customer service? Were you a problem-solving expert? Did you work well in a team environment?
So even if you haven't worked in a sporting goods store before, you can still highlight those relevant skills. Like if you worked in a fast food restaurant and managed a busy lunch rush, that shows you can handle teamwork and problem solving, right?
Exactly. Those skills are valuable in any retail environment, especially a fast-paced one like this. And here's where it gets interesting. They might ask, tell me about a time you went above and beyond for a customer. Be ready to tell a specific story that brings your skills to life.
It's all about showing how your past experiences connect to what this job needs. Got it. What's next?
Question number 2. How do you ensure that your shop is meeting sales targets? This is where you got to show your strategic thinking.
Yeah.
How you understand sales and your leadership skills.
So it's not just about saying, I'll motivate the team.
Right. They want to see how you approach things like analyzing sales data setting, realistic goals, and using effective sales strategies. Think about stuff like product bundling promotions or loyalty programs.
You got to show them you have a plan. You're data-driven and you know how to get results. Instead of a vague answer, I could say something like, I'd look at sales trends, figure out our best-selling categories, and then create promotions or displays to highlight those products. Yeah. And I'd also think about a loyalty program to keep customers coming back.
Now you're talking. That shows initiative, a data-driven mindset, and a focus on the customer. And get ready for follow-up questions like, how would you handle declining sales in a certain category? Or tell me about a time you had to use a new sales strategy. What were the results? They want to see your problem-solving skills and how you can adapt.
Okay, so be specific. Use data and show them you can think strategically. This is really helpful. Next question.
Okay, number 3. How do you manage inventory levels and make sure stock is replenished on time? Inventory management is super important in retail, so this one's crucial.
So they're looking for someone who knows inventory control inside and out. Someone who can keep things running smoothly without having too much or too little of anything.
You got it. Don't just give them the basics. Don't just say you'll keep track of inventory. Talk about things like forecasting demand, factoring in seasonality, managing lead times, and minimizing waste. You can even mention specific inventory management techniques like FIFO or just-in-time inventory to show you really know your stuff.
Okay, so instead of saying, I'll make sure we have enough stuff, I can say something like, I'd use a just-in-time inventory system to keep storage costs down and reduce waste. I'd also use past sales data and industry trends to predict what we'll need, making sure we have the right products at the right time.
There you go. That shows you understand efficiency, cost control, and making decisions based on data. And be ready for a follow-up question like, how would you deal with a situation where a supplier is having delays? They want to see how you handle unexpected problems.
Got it. Be prepared to think on your feet and show off those problem-solving skills. Inventory management is a lot more complicated than it seems.
It definitely is, but RoleCatcher can help you with that. Their AI can analyze job descriptions and tell you what specific inventory management skills might be missing from your resume.
Wow, that's awesome. So you can tweak your resume to highlight those skills?
And didn't you say RoleCatcher has tons of practice questions too? Over 120,000 to be exact. You can save your favorites, get feedback from the AI, and even practice with video to get better at how you present yourself. It's like having a personal coach right there with you.
That's incredible. Okay, with RoleCatcher on our side, let's look at the next question. How do you train your staff to give great customer service? Customer service is everything in retail, so they're definitely looking for strong leadership skills here.
Absolutely. They want to see how you create a customer-focused culture and give your team the skills they need to provide outstanding service. You got to go beyond generic answers like making sure everyone's friendly and helpful.
So instead of vague statements, I should talk about specific training methods, like role-playing or customer service scenarios.
Exactly. You can also talk about using things like customer satisfaction surveys or mystery shopper programs to measure how good your service is and find ways to improve.
So a good answer might be, I would create a training program that includes role-playing to help the staff practice handling different types of customers. We'd also use customer feedback surveys to find areas where we can do better and provide coaching to each team member.
Much better. That shows you're proactive, you use data, and you're invested in helping your team grow. And be ready for a follow-up, like, how would you handle a team member who keeps getting negative feedback from customers? Be prepared to discuss your coaching and performance management skills.
All right, so be firm but fair and always focus on safety and respect. This is good stuff.
And don't forget, RoleCatcher can help you polish your answers to these types of questions. Their AI can look at your responses and give you personalized feedback, so you can create compelling stories that highlight your skills and experience.
That's amazing. I think we've covered a lot for part 1. We'll get to the rest of the interview questions in part 2.
You got it. Stay tuned for more tips and strategies to help you ace that interview. Welcome back. We're still diving deep into that sporting and outdoor accessories shop manager interview, figuring out how to answer those tough questions with help from RoleCatcher.
Last time we talked about experience, sales targets, inventory, and even customer complaints. What's next?
Oh, we got more questions to go over,
Yeah.
and we're going to give you the tools to knock them out of the park.
All right, let's hear it. What's the next question?
Question 6, how do you stay up to date on trends and new products? This is where you show your passion for this stuff and that you're always learning.
So it's not just about saying, I love reading outdoor magazines, right?
Right. Enthusiasm is good, but they want to see how you really engage with the industry. What publications do you read? What websites do you follow? Podcasts, social media groups even.
So a good answer might be, I subscribe to industry magazines like Outdoor Retailer and SNUWest to keep up with new products. I also go to trade shows like the Outdoor Retailer Summer Market to meet suppliers and see the newest gear.
Perfect. That shows you take initiative, you look for information, and you're genuinely interested in what's happening in the sporting goods world.
Okay, so what about follow-up questions? What could they ask?
Be ready for something like, what's a recent product innovation or industry trend that you're excited about and why? They want to see your knowledge and how you connect those trends to the bigger picture.
So it's not just about knowing the latest gear. It's about understanding why it matters and how it's changing the industry.
You got it. Show them you're not just a gearhead. You're a strategic thinker who understands the market.
This is really helpful. I'm already feeling better about answering that one. What's next?
Question 7 brings us back to inventory. Can you tell us about a time you had to make a tough decision about inventory? They want to see how you make decisions, analyze things, and handle tough situations.
So not just textbook inventory management. They want to see how I actually use it in the real world.
Exactly. Pick a story that shows you can analyze data, Think about different factors and make a good decision for the business. Maybe a time you had too much of something or not enough of a popular product.
Okay, so instead of saying I'm good at inventory, I could say something like, we had too many winter jackets after a warm winter. To avoid losing money, I put them on sale and advertised them online and through email. We got rid of most of them and didn't lose much money.
Good example. You showed initiative resourcefulness and that you can make tough calls under pressure.
What about follow-up questions for this one?
They might ask, looking back, would you do the same thing? What did you learn? They want to see that you think about your choices and learn from them, even the mistakes.
So it's about owning your decisions and showing how you've grown. That makes sense. What about question 8?
All right, this one's about marketing. How do you develop and implement a marketing plan for your shop? They want to see your marketing skills, how you understand your customers, and how you create campaigns that get results.
Marketing is huge in retail, especially with all the competition online and in stores.
Absolutely. So don't just list marketing channels. Talk about how you figure out who your target market is, what they need, and how to create a strategy that speaks to them.
Instead of saying I'd use social media and email marketing, I could say I'd start by figuring out who our ideal customer is. What are their outdoor interests? What gear do they like? How do they shop? Then I'd create a content calendar with blog posts, social media updates, and emails with useful information about outdoor activities and gear. I might even partner with local influencers and organizations to reach more people.
Now, that's a good answer. It's strategic and impressive. You showed that you get target marketing, content creation, and building relationships.
What kind of follow-up questions could they ask about marketing?
They might say, how would you measure the success of your campaigns? Or tell me about a time you had to change your marketing plan because the market changed. They're looking for analytical skills, how you track results, and your flexibility.
So it's about more than just launching campaigns. It's about seeing if they work and making changes based on data. Makes sense. All right, what about that last question?
It's not the most glamorous one, but it's important. How do you make sure your shop is following all the laws and regulations? This is about showing that you understand the legal stuff and that you're committed to ethical business practices.
Yeah, compliance can be a bit intimidating, but it's definitely important for a successful business.
You got it. So don't just say you'll follow the rules. Mention specific regulations that apply to selling sporting goods, like consumer safety product liability, environmental regulations.
Okay, so instead of saying, I'll make sure we follow the laws, I could say, I'd stay updated on consumer safety rules by reading industry newsletters and going to workshops. I'd also create clear policies for product recalls and make sure everyone knows them.
Much better. You showed that you're proactive, you understand compliance, and you're taking real steps to make sure the business is ethical and responsible.
I'm feeling a lot more prepared to answer that one.
Yeah.
But before we move on, how can RoleCatcher help with this particular question? It seems a little more technical.
You're right, compliance can be tricky, but RoleCatcher's AI can look at the job description and figure out what compliance-related skills or knowledge you might need.
Oh, so I can highlight those specific things on my resume and in my answers. That's pretty cool.
Exactly. RoleCatcher can even give you practice questions and feedback just for compliance stuff. It's like having a personal compliance expert right there with you.
Wow, that's super helpful. I'm feeling a lot more confident about this whole interview now.
That's what we like to hear.
All right, welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're finishing up our interview prep for all of you future sporting and outdoor accessories shop managers out there.
We've gone through a lot, from talking about your experience to figuring out inventory management, handling those tough customer complaints, and keeping up with all the latest trends.
Exactly. But we've saved a really important question for last. It might not be the most exciting one, but it's super important for showing that you understand how the business works.
Let's talk about question 9. How do you handle the financial side of the shop, like budgeting and managing expenses? This one's all about showing your financial skills, your ability to work with numbers, and your commitment to keeping the business profitable.
So they don't just want someone who can balance a checkbook. They want to see if I can think strategically about the store's finances.
Exactly. Think about setting budgets, tracking expenses, looking at sales data, finding ways to save money, and making smart decisions based on data to make the most profit.
Okay, so instead of saying I'm good with numbers, I could talk about a specific time I managed a budget or expenses. Like, at my last job, I handled the store's yearly budget. I kept track of expenses, found ways to cut costs without sacrificing quality, and put in a new inventory system that reduced waste and helped us make more money.
That's a great example. It shows you're organized, you understand financial management, and you can make smart choices that affect the bottom line.
What about follow-up questions for this one? What could they ask?
Be ready for stuff like, how would you set a budget for a new product line? Or Tell me about a time you had to make a tough decision to save money. How did you do it and what happened? They want to see you think, critically use financial data, and make hard choices when you need to.
Got it. So it's not just about being good at math. It's about using that information to make the best decisions for the business. Okay, I'm feeling much better about this question. Now, before we wrap up, can we talk about RoleCatcher's AI platform one more time? How can it help with this financial stuff?
Good point. We haven't talked much about that for this question. The AI can look at the job description and tell you if you're missing any financial skills or experience.
So I can make sure my resume and my answers highlight those skills to match what the employer is looking for.
Exactly. RoleCatcher can even give you practice questions and feedback on your answers, specifically for those financial management concepts. It's like having a personal finance coach.
That's so helpful. I'm feeling a lot more confident about this interview now.
That's great to hear.
I think we've covered everything in this deep dive. We talked about 9 common interview questions, went over a possible follow-up questions, and learned how RoleCatcher can help us tailor our answers and get feedback.
I hope you're feeling ready to nail that interview and get your dream job as a sporting and outdoor accessories shop manager.
Remember, with the right prep and the right tools, you got this. Don't forget to check out RoleCatcher to take your interview prep to the next level.
Good luck with your interview.
That's it for this episode of The Deep Dive. We'll be back next week with another deep dive into a different career path. Until then, keep learning, keep growing, and keep crushing it.